Now, my parents were recently getting rid of every VHS tape they had ever owned, and I donated about 6 giant boxes of these. However, there were a few videos that I just had to keep. Growing up, I was really into space and the studying of the planets and the stars. 2 things my parents gave me as a child was this Halley's Comet commemorative medal, though it looks like a coin, as well as a Matchbox race car with a smiling, happy Halley's Comet on it. However, one of the other things we had was a video that I just transferred onto a digital media and uploaded to the internet. It is called The Return of Halley's Comet. There's more than just science, for have you ever heard of this song?
I'm just a dirty snowball, a tiny dirty snowball.
No? Well, prepare for edutainment.
Halley's Comet.
The Return of Halley's Comet was released in 1985, the same year the comet would return. It was part of a See and Learn video series by IJE Incorporated. However, I couldn't find any information about the See and Learn video series and any other images or video anywhere on the internet. I was able to find, however, a little bit of information about the company. Seems the creator created it in 1977 and focused on children's entertainment. In 1985, he sold the company, the exact same year of this video, and that company went on to actually make a few video games. They created Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy!
See and learn, children's learning video.
Well, we're off to a good start, right? It's the amazing 80s spinning logo, followed by songs sung by kids.
Oh, hi. I'm Paul Tripp.
Oh, hello. You just caught me in the middle of establishing my geek cred by putting up all these posters so that you can tell that I actually know what I'm talking about. Oh shoot, I lost that one. Guess I'll put up my Yu-Gi-Oh! And Digimon crossover movie poster. Yeah. Paul Tripp pretends that we just caught him, then randomly decides to teach us about Halley's Comet. I can't really make fun of this. This video is for kids, and he's actually trying to make it feel like he's interacting with you so that you'll pay attention to him more.
Now, many things lead me to believe that the comet that appeared in the year 1531 is the same comet that was described in 1607. It is also the same comet which I myself saw and observed when it returned in 1682.
Edmund Halley actually narrates the video on occasion, and I'm not sure if this is from his actual letters, but you know what, that would require way too much research on my part. Paul pretends to hear the narrator, which is odd, but I guess it's alright. I mean, it's for kids.
The identity of these comets is confirmed by the fact that in 1456 a comet was seen. I believe it was the same comet which appeared in the years 1531, 1607, and 1682. I may therefore, with confidence, predict its return in the year 1758.
Well, he's got me convinced.
Oh, I hope I'm right. I really hope I'm right. This comet could make my name as lasting as a rock. Suppose it doesn't come, then I'll be made a laughing stock. Oh!
What am I watching now?
I hope I'm right. I really hope I'm right. Depending on astronomers I've never met before, who said they saw this comet in the dusty days of yore. Suppose they all were careless, never kept their records straight, and claimed they saw my comet, but could not recall the date. I hope I'm right.
What just happened to my science video?
I don't know why I'm worried, really.
Well, we do. We live in an age when scientific miracles happen every day.
Scientific miracles happen every day. Why, in that same year in 1985, we learned that there was a hole in the ozone layer. Wait a minute, that doesn't really sound like a miracle. Let me check my dictionary. Let's see. A miracle is an effect or extraordinary event in the physical world that surpasses all human known or natural powers and is ascribed to a supernatural cause, or such an effect or event manifestation or considered as a work of God. Wait a minute. A miracle completely contradicts the very idea of science. You know what? I'm going to get in too deep for this video if I just start rambling, so let's just get back to it.
Of Sir Isaac Newton and his experiments. Ow! The law of gravity. No. Well, Newton developed his law of gravity with those experiments, which said that all the planets, including Earth, had to move round the sun in orbital paths. It seemed obvious to most astronomers that comets traveled in straight lines across the sky and then disappeared, never to be seen again.
Stuff and nonsense, poppycock! It is perfectly plain to me that comets follow an orbital path, much like the planets do around the sun. With the return of Halley's comet, well, I would be honored if it were so named, when my comet returns in 1758, it will be the very first time in the study of the heavens that a great idea is proven by an awesome event. Then you will see that I am right. And so, by the way, is Sir Isaac Newton.
This is Edward Tomorrow reporting the news. Dateline, Christmas night, 1758.
What? After all this good science stuff, now you're introducing a reporter? He's holding a freaking microphone. Videos and radios weren't made in the 1700s. I know this is nitpicky, but you're trying to be all science fact with this video, maybe trying to make a little funny things and songs so that the kids don't get bored. I understand that. But something like this, it just means that, like, you're confusing kids. They're the people that are going to write about going back in time to the 1950s and checking up on the internet.
I think I see it. I claim the first sighting of Halley's comet for France.
Ha! Foolish fellow, that's my scarf flapping in the wind. If anybody sees Halley's comet first, it'll be an Englishman.
Apologies, please. Chinese astronomer have seen this comet for many centuries. Chinaman will see Halley's comet first.
Wow. Talk about stereotypes. This would totally not fly at all today.
The comet? Oh, the comet! I just saw it an hour ago. Gentlemen, your telescopes are pointing in the wrong direction. There he is over there. Look, he's a cute little fellow, isn't he?
So farmer comes by, sees it, and says, "Hey, you guys just should have tilted your head right to the left." Whatever, this is stupid. I mean, I know it happened, but it kind of makes these people look really stupid, doesn't it?
It will make another appearance at the end of 1985. Halley's Comet comes to visit us about every 75 years. And that means that for anyone lucky enough to see it, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It's a once-in-your-lifetime experience. And you can be there this time.
You can see it too? No, I can't. I was only 3 years old. I didn't even have enough time to hold memories in my brain yet.
It has three main parts: the nucleus, the coma, and the tail. In Halley's day in the 1600s, science was not advanced enough to study a comet's actual makeup. But by 1910, science had come far enough to attempt a serious study of what a comet actually was. Still, even with the most powerful telescopes available, scientists could not get a close enough look. But scientists being what they are, they took a stab at an educated guess. They figured,
It's time for a song.
a comet is a streak of light that spreads across the sky. It isn't very often that they chance to happen by. It seems to be a miracle that makes them look so nice. Would you believe it all starts out with dust and dirt and ice? Well, it's a dirty snowball, a dusty, dirty snowball. A comet isn't much until it starts to near the sun, but as it comes in closer, a phenomenon's begun. This dusty, bumpy, dirty, frumpy, lumpy, solid mass gets partially converted into brightly glowing gas. This little lump is shedding lots of atoms small and frail, which brings us to the subject of its most distinctive tale. The sun's light bumps these atoms, now they're charged electrically, and soon we'll learn precisely how long the tail can be. These atoms all are pulled into a great magnetic race, and a comet's tail will stream 1,000,000 miles out into space.
Actually, a lot of this song is very informational and scientifically accurate. So it's like, it's helping kids learn science through song.
As far back as 1982, the giant telescope on Mount Palomar in California detected the comet when it was still beyond Saturn, over 900 million miles away. Scientists from all over the world have formed an organization for the study of Halley's Comet and call themselves the International Halley Watch. And in 1989, all this new information about Halley's mysterious comet will be published for the whole world to share. For the first time, we will not be limited to viewing Halley's comet from our own Earth. Now, we have the ability to go up and study the comet in its own environment, outer space. Here's Giotto. Now that's the European Space Agency's probe. On the night of March 13, 1986, this spacecraft will race through the comet's atmosphere at speeds approaching 40 miles per second, or over 140,000 miles per hour. And believe it or not, Giotto will pass within only 300 miles of the nucleus, probably committing suicide in the process. Scientists will only have 10 minutes to retrieve pictures from such a fantastically close range before the probe is blown apart by the crashing storm of cometary dust.
Interestingly, their prediction didn't actually occur. The Giotto didn't suicide. It was slightly damaged, but still functioned for years.
Everybody was excited as the stream of pictures came in. And then, seconds before closest approach, the spinning spacecraft began to wobble after an impact with a dust particle of just 1/10 of a gram. Contact with the Earth was lost. For a moment, everybody feared the worst, but to everyone's amazement, occasional bursts of information began to come through, and 32 minutes later, continuous contact was established. The adventure continued. About half of the instruments had suffered damage. ESA decided to put Giotto into hibernation, ready for another mission. This second rendezvous was with Comet Greek-Skellerop of a quite different type. On the 9th of July 1992, a command brought Giotto back to life. A few days later, At about 215 million kilometers from Earth, Giotto made the closest cometary flyby ever in space science history, less than 200 kilometers.
Japan had a satellite, Planet A, taking pictures, and there was cross-communication projects between the UK and America, and astronauts in the space shuttle were also studying it. Well then, what did we finally learn from these satellites? What did we finally see? Well, it's not going to be seen on this video because this video was made before the comet happened. So, let's find out.
Elongated potato shape of 15 kilometers long and 9 kilometers across. Other instruments provided data on the composition of Halley's molecular and chemical structure.
Here's some of the pictures from the Giotto at a really fast speed. Remember, these were the first pictures ever taken at any comet's nucleus. However, the most impressive are the ones they took from Earth, which studied the comet's trail. It's over 800 images spanning 2.5 months.
The camera registered the light from carbon monoxide ions in the tail. The time of exposure is shown in the lower right-hand corner. Here we go. We can see how the tail changes, and the outward motion is very obvious. If we watch carefully, we can also see big blobs in the tail that sometimes move outwards. Sometimes the tail bends and twists. This is when Halley passes through regions in interplanetary space where the magnetic field is disturbed.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't really have any comments right now. All this stuff is actually pretty interesting.
Let's see what the comet itself has been doing since its last visit to Earth.
Well, when it left Earth in the spring of 1910, spinning away on its elliptical orbit into the darkest recesses of the solar system, Halley's Comet made a journey of 3 billion miles, which took 38 years before it reached its farthest point from the Sun. That's the point that scientists call the aphelion. And on November 27th, 1985, it passes within 58 million miles of us.
58 million miles?
Don't worry, we'll be able to see it.
If you got on a jumbo jet tomorrow morning, you'd have to fly continuously for 11 years to get that far. First, let's visit John, who lives in New York City. That means, of course, that John is in the northern hemisphere. He has been making his preparations.
I'll need a pair of binoculars or a telescope to help me view Halley's Comet. They don't have to be very powerful, but they will make the comet much easier to see.
I told John that viewing the sky from outside the city will be better, because there's less glare from city lights.
Okay then, I'll ask my parents to take me out into the countryside for my comet watch.
I'm sorry, you noticed how I stopped talking again so you could learn something?
Starting in early December 1985, just after sunset, Halley's Comet will be seen as a smudgy disk with a shore tail very close to the western horizon. During the next couple of months, the comet will steadily grow brighter and brighter, and its tail will grow longer and longer. And as the tail grows longer, there's a very interesting fact for John to remember. The tail of the comet always points away from the sun. That means that after perihelion, when it is moving away from the sun, the comet's tail actually flows ahead of it. You see, in the airless vacuum of space, where there is no wind, the sun sends out streams of particles which act like a wind, blowing past the comet's nucleus and pushing its tail ahead of it as it travels away from the sun.
Now Sally, who, incidentally, is proud that her name rhymes with Halley, she lives on an Australian sheep farm.
Seriously? I mean, this video... it has some really good facts, And then it does like hilarious stuff like this.
And Halley's comet will be considerably more visible in the skies of the southern hemisphere where she is. While John must carefully search the horizon to see the comet, Sally has only to look up, and there it will be.
Sally, do you realize you're looking up past the comet? You're making the same mistakes those people made 300 years ago. Every time Halley's Comet circles Earth, people blame wars on it. I mean, we've had millions of wars since man started civilization, but that just sounds so laughable that people would think this.
People are often frightened by what they don't understand. In 373, the Huns attacked the Ostrogoths. Strange, but no matter, but blame it on Halley's Comet. In 451, Attila the Hun...
Wait. Who drew Attila the Hun? Like seriously? Did like the producer's children make all the art for this video? I mean, the art is so poor sometimes that it's laughable. But seriously, I guess I know it was made on a budget. I mean, I know these people are really trying hard to make a video.
In 1222, Genghis Khan and his Mongol hordes swept through southern Europe massacring.
But these people don't look like they're massacring anyone. They're just carrying their swords and riding their horses.
Some scholars believe that the Star of Bethlehem, which guided the wise men to the little manger where Jesus was born, was that very same Halley's Comet.
Whoa, stop right there. The Star of Bethlehem could have been Halley's Comet? I mean, that would make sense since it lasted for 2.5 months, but I remember learning this in this video, but this is not something I've ever heard before or since. I've never seen people talk about it on any kind of science hypothesis discovery channels. I've never heard people talk about it on TV. I've never heard anyone in like religious discussions bring it up or say anything about this. I mean, do people just like not think it's a legitimate idea? Do they not buy it? Do they not cross the two? Anyway, let's move on.
Once in a lifetime feeling, it's something I can't explain. The feeling of having a very best friend or walking in the rain.
Okay, wait just a second. The other two songs made sense and were educational, but what is this song doing here?
Once in a lifetime feeling, a feeling you cut with a knife.
Yeah, the song is accurate because if you do get cut, that scar is going to be with you for the rest of your life. Man, this is a very disturbing song.
A once in a lifetime sunset, a song that can make you cry. The wonderful first time you fall in love, a comet across the sky.
The song is about once-in-a-lifetime events, with the comet being a small sentence in the song. This song was also the title of a 1986 documentary on Halley's Comet. They don't credit the song, so I don't even know where it's from. All I could find were songs from Talking Heads and Michael Bolton. So, if anybody knows if this song was rewritten earlier and remade with a different singer or something, just please let me know. Mark Twain's birth and death both happened the year of Halley's Comet, and people always remember this, especially from his dying words.
The comet and I are two unaccountable freaks. We came in together and we must go out together. Oh, I am looking forward to that.
In fact, those dying words inspired a claymation called The Adventures of Mark Twain, in which Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn go on a balloon trip with Mark Twain throughout time as well as different alternate universes that are really just all the novels of Mark Twain. It was released in theaters in 1985, the same year the comet returned. It was the first claymation to use 100% claymation for everything, the characters and the backgrounds. It was just released on DVD and Blu-ray in the year 2012, so if you like claymation, be sure to check it out.
Japan will make its first interplanetary space shot with a probe of its own. It's called Planet A. Japan's probe will pass 60,000 miles from Halley's Comet. And while it won't be quite as close as Giotto, it's not bad for a first try, is it?
These people don't look like they're massacring anyone. They're just like sitting on their swords, carrying horses.